Whispers beneath the Baobab. Part 1. The villagers of Nkara avoided the old path that led to the ancestral Baobab tree. Children were warned not to wander near it after sunset, and elders spoke in hushed tones when its twisted branches caught the wind. But not everyone listened. Ndidi had not been back to Nkara in nearly a decade. Now a hardened social worker from Lagos, she returned after receiving a letter written in her late grandmother's handwriting, years after the woman had been buried. The letter said, "They have forgotten. The tree remembers. Come home, Ndidi. Come before the soil swallows what's left." Confused and skeptical, Ndidi arrived in Nkara to find the village decaying. The air smelled of ash and rotting fruit, and the people, those who hadn't fled, were hollow-eyed and withdrawn. No one welcomed her. Not even her uncle, the once jovial Pastor Udo, who now preached to an empty church, with bloodshot eyes and a trembling voice. At night, Ndidi began to hear it, a whisper like wind moving through teeth. It came from the Baobab. The tree pulsed with a life of its own, its bark rippled like skin. Beneath it, she found offerings, bones, rotting fruit, human teeth. She confronted her uncle, who broke down sobbing. "We made a deal, during the famine," he admitted. "We gave it what it asked, and it gave us rain. But it never stopped asking. Your grandmother kept it at bay, but when she died..." He stopped, staring past Ndidi, as if something stood behind her. That night, she dreamed of her grandmother, screaming without a mouth, hands clawing at her own chest as roots sprouted from her eyes. When Ndidi woke, her fingernails were packed with soil. And her feet were wet with dew from the Baobab grove. Ndidi tried to leave Nkara. She packed her bags, ignored the wary stares of villagers, and made for the only road out. But every path, every bend, led her back to the Baobab. No matter which direction she walked, she returned to its roots, each time with the sun lower in the sky, and the whispers louder. Something was steadying her here. She turned to Pastor Udo for help, but found his church empty and ransacked. Dried blood was smeared across the altar. The villagers said he had been acclaimed. No one would say by what. At night, she began to hear her name being spoken in different voices. Sometimes it was her mother's voice, who died when she was 8. Sometimes it was her own. In one sleepless midnight hour, she returned to the Baobab, determined to confront it. She found a small hollow at its base, one she had never seen before. Inside, wrapped in decomposing cloth, was her grandmother's old staff, and a cracked gourd filled with dark fluid. She took both. That night, her dreams were worse. She dreamt of a long line of villagers, naked and weeping, walking into the open mouth of the Baobab. Roots wrapped around their ankles, dragging them into soil that swallowed them whole. And standing beside the tree, was her. Not just her, an older, decayed version of her, with eyes like drying blood and a grin too wide for her face. "You came back," the dream figure whispered. "Now you must become." Ndidi awoke in the old hut, covered in scratches she hadn't made. She began to read her grandmother's old journal, hidden in the false bottom of the gourd. It spoke of an ancient pact with the earth spirits, Nunu, the devourers of wrath and memory. They lived beneath the Baobab and demanded offerings, not out of hunger, but to erode the boundary between the living and the forgotten. The pact had been broken. And now, the Nunu wanted more than offerings. They wanted vessels. Each night, more villagers disappeared. No screams. Just silence. And Ndidi was beginning to forget things, names, faces, even why she had come back in the first place. Her memories were being fed upon. The whispers had grown louder. Soon, they would speak through her. Like, follow and share for part 2.